Hi, welcome to the Maycomber Center in Concord, or the Grape Center in Maycomber, or the Maycomber Center in Framingham with the Concord grapes. In any case, this is Rubel's Rambles. In astronomy news this week, on the 16th, we have got a meteor shower called the Leonids. It's just like a moderate meteor shower with 20 meteors per hour at its peak. If you want to watch it, as always, just go out to the clearest sky you can. If possible, look east, but it doesn't matter that much. And the later in the night that you watch, the more meteors you should be able to see. On November 11th, there's going to be a new moon. And there are a few cool things that happen on a new moon. Like, the tides are extra high. So the way tides work are, if I've got one body here, its gravity, and I've got another body here, this body's gravity pulls stronger on the closer end of this body than the middle, so it stretches this end a little away from the middle, and it pulls harder on the middle than the farther end, so it stretches the middle away from the farther end, making it kind of egg-shaped-ish. And so if you get close enough to a strong enough gravity thing, the tides can actually shatter the body because it'll pull so much harder on this end than this end that they will just explode away from each other. But so on Earth, the crust can't move very much, although on an earthly scale, not very much is actually around 30 centimeters. So every day if you just sit in your room, you go up and down by 30 centimeters twice. So there, on Earth, the water can move quite a bit more than the hard crust. So there are two bulges of water on either side of the Earth. One where it's pulling it harder than the Earth, and one where it's pulling the Earth harder than the water. So there are two tidal bulges, one on each side. And the moon, caused by the moon. And so if you're here, it's low tide because the water's all sucked into these tidal bulges. And then in half a day, you're in the middle of a tidal bulge, and so the water's higher. They're not that big. I'm just exaggerating them so that you can see. And then in another 6 hours, it's another low tide. The sun, even though it's so much farther away, around 40 times farther away than the moon, it also creates tides that are only about half as strong. And so even over that great distance, the sun has so much gravity that it can create tides half as strong as the moon. And so when the sun and the moon line up, as happens at a new moon, then the tides are 1.5 times as strong, which is called a spring tide, because they're the moon tide pulling the water over there, and then sun tide is pulling even more water from the other parts over to the place where the tide bulges. And in half a lunar cycle, in 7.5 days, the moon will be at first quarter, and then the sun tide will take away from the moon tide, creating a neap tide, which is what it's called when the tides are less extreme, and it's called a spring tide when they're more extreme. So I hope I articulated that well. If you have any questions, ask me in the comments. Thanks for watching, and clear skies.